Brad, it's been a long year and a big couple of weeks. What are your feelings right now?
Oh, we're disappointed, Mark. Obviously, we came over here to win the game and to acquit ourselves well, and we just outplayed tonight, and we couldn't quite get the ascendancy in a few areas that we tried to, and we were close a few times, but to Adelaide's credit, they kicked away. So, yeah, we're bitterly disappointed.
You had enough of the ball early, and in the first half just couldn't get the score on the board.
Yeah, it was disappointing that certainly their efficiency was good in the first half, and ours wasn't where it needed to be. So we could have been in a much better situation at half time, but we hung in there, and but we're really disappointing in the third quarter. Really, skill errors, really poor tackling, and when you play that way against Adelaide, who have got such a dangerous offence, they make you pay, and they certainly made us pay in that third quarter.
Brad, losing a final is always emotional, but was it extra emotional because of the leaving of 4 players? How tough was it? Yeah,
it was really tough for everyone involved. The boys, the senior players, are going to leave a magnificent legacy for our football club, but there's no doubt the landscape will look completely different next year. They leave a huge hole, but there are plenty of guys who are really hungry and eager to fill those holes. But right now, I mean, now that the game's over, the overwhelming feeling is one of reflecting on the legacy that those guys will leave us, because it'll last at our football club for generations, and everyone will remember the great deeds on field, and everyone within the club will remember all of the boys and what they did for us off field. But overriding all of that, it'll be the legacy for the next generations of North Melbourne footballers who will get to experience the culture and the legacy that Brent Harvey, Michael Frito, Drew Petrie and Nick D'Alessandro have left for them.
Brad, did Brent Harvey speak to the group at the end, and if so, what was the tone of the speech? He did speak to the boys, but in terms of the content and the tone, we'll keep that. It was a pretty special moment for Boomer and his teammates and some other close members of the footy club. But it was it was terrific to hear from him, and I know his teammates appreciated it, and they wanted the opportunity to thank him too.
You started so strong this year. Can you pinpoint how you're going to steam in the second half of the year?
Yep, we'll probably do a more thorough analysis on it, but it probably started round 7. We started losing guys systematically in games and from week to week, and we never really at any stage got our group back. And contrast, Adelaide have had a fantastic year, and they deserve to progress through the first week of finals, and they've done a terrific job on field, and they've done a terrific job keeping pretty much their core together all year, and it does make a significant difference. But we started the year with what we thought was really good depth, and unfortunately we just couldn't muster up a 22 that was capable of getting the job done against the better sides. So there are a number of things, but we'll look back and wonder what could have been after probably round 11 onwards, had we been able to keep our group together. Now, clubs need to be better than that, and really good sides who are challenging for premierships each year, they're able to cover some losses. We weren't able to cover them. So that in itself says we've got work to do.
Will you be aggressive in the trade period? I mean, you've lost the big 4, but you've been linked to a lot of players.
Yeah, it's that time of year, isn't it? But we'll just continue to look to get better. We'll have to. List management is not as simple as just saying let's do this or let's do that. There are a multitude of different options and discussions, and it's a collaborative effort. So we'll go to work on that pretty much full time this week. Do all our player exit interviews and then go to work on that. But even if I did want to detail it, it's too complex to go into in a post-match press conference.
What are your thoughts on Magic Door's game tonight? 4 goals.
Yeah, I thought he showed some really good signs in a high-pressure game against quality opposition. He showed why we've got such high hopes for him. He can play
as a really effective ruckman, really effective key forward, as good a contested mark as there is going around. So clearly got some other parts of his game that he continues to work on, but he certainly showed some really nice signs tonight in the final.
Brett, how much do you think the landscape's changed by that week off? That is Adelaide now more serious from fifth spot than we've ever thought of teams outside the four before?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that. Traditionally, if you finish outside the top four, even if you get a home final like Adelaide did, you'd think you'd have to travel the next week, and if not the week after that as well. So that cumulative load takes its toll, and you're always playing a prelim against a side who's had a week off. So that's certainly been mitigated by the bye this year, and everyone's got their view on the bye, but the truth is that it depends on your personal circumstances at the time.
Brad, is it a reset or a rebuild, or somewhere in the middle? And are you excited by that as tough as tonight was?
Yeah, Glenn, we'll go through all of that because, as I said before, there's a multitude of different options. I know that for North Melbourne fans, you go back over the last decade, and I mean that 10 years we've taken first, second, third pick at the draft, and most of them are still with us. A fair chunk of them. So there are a lot of players that we're really keen to expose at senior level. We're really keen to keep working with in the pre-season to get better. But we're always, focused on that short term, medium term, and long term. And one thing you can rest assured, we'll do what we think is best for the football club.
How close was Jared Waite to getting up and beyond and next year? I mean, you're keen to keep him on the list?
Yeah, I think his form in the first half of the year was outstanding. The partnership with Drew Petrie, and Ben Brown, in the first half of the year they really gelled and they really worked well together. So we're really disappointed we couldn't keep that going. But it would have been a massive gamble to play him. He trained for 2 weeks, but he didn't hit the measures that we needed him to physiologically. Psychologically, he was up for the challenge and wanted to play, but we took the philosophy that we wanted to pick 22 that we thought could come over and win the game, but they needed to be a fully fit 22. And rolling the dice with Jared just wouldn't have been a smart thing to do.
So his body will allow him to go on, do you think, next year?
Oh yeah, I think if we'd won tonight, he would have been right to play next week. So he was that close.
But when you talk about that dangerous Adelaide offence, if that's the one that has attack that could finally end that debate that defence wins finals and defence wins premierships first?
It depends. We were really disappointed with our defensive effort tonight, Michelangelo. I mean, we haven't seen us get out marked 2-on-1 as many times as we did tonight. So beating 1-on-1's bad enough, but structurally it wasn't too bad. But we were really poor in our execution. Look, you need to score to win. There's no doubt about that. And as the season really tightens up and 8 teams turn into 6 and to 4 and to 2, you need a combination of both. But I don't think that we're at the stage where you can think we're just all offence and hopefully we'll kick enough goals to win. When it gets really tight and dour, you need to be able to defend well. And I think Adelaide have shown they can do that. It's just that their offence is so scintillating that that's where most of the focus is.
As a North Melbourne person, do you hope that Boomer doesn't go on elsewhere? I know it's probably not the right night to ask that, but it is thereabouts.
Look, in my view, it's never a coach's role to retire players, ever. Players decide when they retire. And I was determined never at any stage to coerce, force, direct Boomer with what he wanted to do. I'm charged with the responsibility of doing the right thing by our football club, but I still regard myself as a player's coach. So the things that have unfolded in the second half of the year have been as tough as any period of my time in footy. But we will not force Boomer to make a decision one way or the other. That decision will be entirely his.
Backtracking a bit here, Lindsay Thomas tonight. I know we've spoken about this before, but times there were free kicks there maybe they didn't get.
I didn't see any.
I think there were a couple.
As much as you're involved in the game. I mean, you just try and direct the players to play to the umpire's whistle, direct the players to go as hard as they can at the ball, and mistakes will be made by players and umpires alike. We've got to be better than worrying about that. And I thought Lindsay played really well. I thought he really attacked the game. He's had a tough couple of weeks himself personally, of which he'd be a bit annoyed that I mentioned that publicly. But I've said before, I mean, people have got their view on Lindsay Thomas, but I can't speak highly enough of him. From the Lindsay I met in 2009 to the person, father, competitor that he is today, he's a really highly rated person at our footy club, and you win some, you lose some. That's what I've always tried to tell him.
You want to leave us with a thought of who wins it from here?
I think you're going to have 6 genuinely good teams, and we thought before the start of the final series it was as open as it's ever been, and that's a credit to the AFL. They've had a stated objective of making the competition as equal as they can, and they've achieved that objective. Any of those 6 teams are capable of winning the 2 or 3 games they need to win the premiership. So over the next couple of weeks, I'll look forward, albeit relatively jealously, to watching it, but it's going to be a cracking final series from this point on. And it's been an unbelievable start to the final series, so let's hope it continues.
Thanks.